friends, welcome to my very first tutorial. We are going to be making the pendant light. So we're going to be wrapping the cord to this. If you are looking for the items for it, I still have kits available. Otherwise, what you're going to need for this tutorial, I'm doing a 10-foot hanging light. That's what I have here. And you're going to need about 110 feet of cord, and I do about a 4mm cord. So again, these are all available in my kits, or if you would like to find it yourself, you can. I do have links in the highlights of different places that you can purchase this. So the cord is going to be roughly about 11 times as long as this. So after this, you're going to see a real quick tutorial of just how to do this knot that we're going to be doing throughout basically the whole thing. So if you get confused while we're kind of going through it, you could just go back to that clip real quick just to see. I'm going to do 2 different colors, so it makes it easy for you guys to see that. So let me know if you have any questions, and I hope you guys enjoy. Alright, so I'm excited to get started with this tutorial for you guys. First, let's talk about how to hang this, how to actually work on your project. I understand not everybody has, clothing rack. I have mine for macrame actually, but if you have your closet rod, a shower, if you have to get into that shower curtain rod, I have definitely done it off of my curtain rods before. Whatever you got to do. That is why I did provide a hook in the kits if you bought a kit from me. And I have a couple magnets just to keep it in place because it's on a metal. So you're gonna have to kind of get creative. You do not have to hang it. If you want to work on the table or on the ground, on your bed, you can. You might just want something to, as you place it on a flat surface, weigh down part of it so that when you start working on it, it's not just moving everywhere. So maybe a heavy book, if you have it like on your bed, put a heavy book somewhere about right here. So then you have that holding it down, and then you can start working. It will be more difficult, honestly, if you're on a flat surface, because it's going to be a little harder to get behind it. You don't have the freedom. So if you can sit down or stand up and work on something, that's definitely ideal. So this is how I have it. I'm using the moon color cord because I really love this color, and I have about 110 feet of it. It needs to be about 11 times the length of the cord, and these cords in the kits and the tutorial is 10 feet. So but then we're not going to work with this all at the same time, so we're going to cut it. So for this tutorial, you don't actually need a measuring tape, but you obviously need some scissors. And what we're going to do to figure out how much cord we're going to start working with is find the halfway point in here. So that's here for me. And then you're just going to simply take your cord and actually let me put this on the ground here and take your cord and take it to the halfway point here, which is about what I did. So this equals the halfway point, and I'm just going to keep doubling it over. And I'm going to do that 11 times. So this is 10 times and 11. And then we're just gonna cut the cord here. Now you want to tie a knot at both ends, and this is especially important if you're using a rope, like a twisted 3-strand rope. So now we want to find the middle of this long cord that we just cut. So you're going to put your 2 ends together, and you may find that it gets a little tangled. I did my untangling off video, so just look at a little tangle that happens. So once you find the center, we are going to start working on our lamp. So now that we have the center of our rope, we are going to attach it. So if you saw the video that I had on my stories right before this, you'll see the spiral knot. If you're watching this later, I actually have the spiral knot video in its own highlights so that it's easy for you guys to find, and you're not just flipping through a whole bunch of videos in my highlights with this tutorial. So, spiral knot. This is our center cord right here. I always work from the right hand side. If you're a lefty or you are comfortable working from this side, that's fine. Start on the left. I'm gonna start on the right, and you'll always start on that same side. So, right now what we have is some really long cord. So this part is a little more long. You have to kind of pull it through, but I'm gonna show you how we can kind of work a little more efficiently once we get started. So, first off, you're gonna take the cord on the right, and it's gonna go over top of our lamp cord. And then this cord on the left is gonna go over top of that. So right now this is what we have. That cord on the left that's now in the front is gonna go behind the lamp cord and through this little loop we created. And this is where you're gonna do some pulling, and most likely, because the cord's so long, you may have it get entangled within itself. But once we get this attached, I'm going to show you how we can not be dealing with this the whole time. So now you're gonna pull it tight, and you may even wanna do, if you have a hook, let me get that back up there a little bit, then you can kind of hang it like that. You may want to do it one more time before we, just to kind of secure it better. So again, cord on the right goes over top of the lamp cord. The left-hand cord goes over top of that one, and then behind the lamp cord and up through this loop. We're gonna pull it again. Hopefully. Okay, so let's avoid this long cord. So what I do is I actually take a rubber band, or you can take string too, and you're just gonna do this. Hopefully yours isn't getting caught like mine usually is in my bar here. And you're just gonna do this. So once you have about a foot and a half or so, yeah, you're gonna take that piece there, and I actually just kind of grab it in the center, and I take my rubber band out in the center and just kind of go a couple times around. You're gonna do that for both of the strings. So if you don't have a rubber band, you can use a string. You could even use the cord that you're working with, cut a little piece off of that just to wrap it around. I actually did find as I did this project that is easier to do, and I ditched the rubber band. So now we're going to go back to doing spiral knot, and it's the exact same process I already showed you, just with the weight of the rolled up cord at the bottom. It does make it a little more challenging, but you're doing the exact same thing. So you're taking that cord on the right hand side, putting it over the top of the lamp cord, taking the cord on the left hand side, put it over top of that cord, like so. And then that cord that was on the left hand side will go behind the lamp cord and through that loop. And you can see that I kind of use my fingers just to grab where I can, just to keep things in place. And that's it. That's all you have to do. Tighten it up and do it again. As you're working along, you may want to kind of push up on the spiral knots a little and adjust things. And once you get your rope starts to get short, it's time to undo the rubber band or the string and give yourself another foot and a half to work with. Once you have a few feet left of cord, you no longer need to keep it rolled up, and you can just let it be loose, and it will be much easier to work with. Okay, so when you're down to just an inch or so of cord, not much left here. You want a little bit, but this is when we're gonna start to add on our new cord. So you're gonna do the same thing as when we started, is just get the length of it, and then you're gonna do that times it by 11 or double it over 11 times like before. So once you've done that, you'll want to put your knots on the end and find the center. And then we're just going to simply attach it like you did at the beginning, but make sure these two cords are on the inside. Let's see, and then do your spiral knot, and hopefully you won't get too tangled as you do this. I think mine's going to. That's what it likes to do. Okay, I got it untangled. So you have your little spiral knot, and I'm gonna line up the new knot that gets created. You'll see that knot on the side there. I'm just gonna try my best to line it up with where the spiral's going so that it can kind of just continue from there. So you might have to, this is why it's nice to roll this up into a ball so you don't have to deal with that the whole time. But once you get it up, do a couple of knots and you'll be able to get it all lined up. So the cord is all rolled up, ready to go. Now I have these pieces that are hanging out there. You can just snip those off. Make sure you cut the right cord. And then just continue on down to the bottom. I'm gonna show you what to do when we get here and then to the end. So those are the next two. Working up to the light switch and getting around it is actually pretty easy. So you're gonna want to make your spiral knots right up to the top of that switch. And as you see how I'm kind of putting the rope over top of that switch, don't go below it or else you're going to be struggling to get that rope up and over the top. But as you can see as I'm moving out of the frame there, but you'll want to work right up to it and then just kind of adjust it so the cords can go right along the side there, and then just continue your spiral knot. And that's it. So you'll continue your spiral knots down to the end, and you're going to leave about an inch or an inch and a half or so at the bottom, and then we will work on the gathering knot. So that's next. Okay, so we are to the final part. We're going to do what's called a gathering knot. And you're basically just wrapping your cord around it, but let me show you how to do that. So first we need to I'm using my excess cord. I have a bit of excess cord here. You probably will too, that's all right. It's always better to have extra cord than run out. So if you did run out of cord before you got here, just go ahead and if you can recall how to just attach some new cord, do that. Measure it out about 11 times the length of what you're trying to cover. So to find this, we're gonna do about 6 times, and I'm actually gonna take it, I'm measuring from the knot to where my thumb is at. So I'm going over, actually let's take it to the bottom of this, just to make sure you have plenty of cord here. So that's the length, and I'm just going 6 times. 3, so that's 3. So actually now what you can do is just grab that. You got that 3 times length there, that's 6. So I'm gonna cut that, and then we're just gonna start wrapping. So how we do that is you're going to make a little loop. So take it, kind of get where the knot's at to where my thumb's at. That's where your loop's gonna be. So then I'm grabbing it here, grab everything, put that knot, the knot kind of, you don't have to have a knot, but it's easier for you guys to see what I'm doing. So placing that knot, not on the white part of the cord, but above it. And I'm gonna grab everything. And then this string is just gonna start wrapping around. I'm holding on to it pretty tight. And then once you get it wrapped, you're gonna have to move your thumb and grab that. This can take a little practice, but just kind of keep some tension. Make sure you grab it with your thumb. I'm always holding on to it somehow. Now I have a hold of it with my fingers back there. I'm holding it with my thumb, so I just kind of go back and forth with what fingers I'm holding it with, making sure you got tension. And then once you get going, it gets a little easier there. Oh, I was trying to fall down the hook here. So I just keep grabbing and wrapping. So I definitely made sure I had plenty of cord left over, so I'm getting it all the way to the bottom there. So now you have a loop here, a little loop that we left at the bottom has a use. This cord is going to go right through that. Just like that. And then I just kind of hold it. I'm just kind of holding it up against here to keep the tension. So I'm pressing my finger. That loop needs to get out of the way there. And I'm going to grab here so I don't have to hold it here anymore. And then this, you start pulling up. And it's going to kind of go right up into there. You don't have to pull it all the way into it, honestly. It'll hold now. It's got some tension. So now just cut the extra cords off. And if you want to tuck those in, you can take something not sharp. I don't recommend using your scissors like I do. And just barely tuck that in there. You can do something like that. Oh, missed this piece. There we go. That's it, guys. Thank you guys so much for joining me, and I would absolutely love to see your finished projects. So tag me on Instagram to share it with me, and please feel free to give me some feedback because I would love to improve for my next tutorial. So good or bad, let me know. Thank you guys.